we have a very sacred, a very special Reiki session for grounding, utilizing the beautiful power of myrrh. Say hi to myrrh. Everybody say hi to myrrh. Hey, myrrh. Myrrh's beautiful. I feel this myrrh deeply. We're going to up the intensity as we go. So starting off, we have 2. A little bit later, probably be 5. The next 10. The next thing you know, the entire bag. And here we go. I'm going to use the Kamehameha style. I don't know, this is my style. Like most people like to use the This feels good, but it's not. It's been done before. Let's try this. I want you all to imagine that you're stuck in quicksand. You're slowly but surely just getting sunk by quicksand. And so at first you start to do what's normal because you probably were just stepping into some normal sand and now you're into quicksand. So you begin to panic and you begin to struggle. You begin to fight. And you begin to resist. But then, out of nowhere, something tells you, stop resisting. You're making it worse when you resist. And so, you decide to take heed and stop resisting. And so you just, maybe some people would be the knees, some people would be right away, some people would be like your waist, some people would be your shoulders, but no matter who, where, eventually you stop resisting. And you just let the quicksand do what it does. And then slowly but surely, you are almost almost. Like I'm talking about all you have left if you're looking straight up. After you've been sinking and sinking and sinking and sinking and sinking and sinking, all you have left if you look straight up is your eyes, the tips of your nostrils, and your mouth. That's all you have that's left of being uncovered. And then, out of nowhere, you find that out of nowhere, Mother Earth, somebody, something, but something from the earth is pushing the bottom of your feet. And it's slowly but surely pushing you back up, and back up, and back up, and back up. And you're going upwards and upwards and upwards and upwards and upwards and upwards. Till eventually, long story short, you're back on the ground again. And I feel like that's the essence of grounding in a nutshell. You feel like you're stuck in this ever so hopeless pile of quicksand of responsibilities, duties, obligations, time commitments, time fulfillments, moral fears, like problems. Like you just feel overwhelmed in the sea of whatever it is. And then out of nowhere, you start getting aware of like that little lift. You get aware of what's the tiniest step I could take towards this direction. And then you just start that tiny direction, just a tiny step, and just the tiniest step in that direction you want to take. Whatever it is you want to do in life, just taking the tiniest step. And then out of nowhere, you start to get more steps. And you start to get more and more steps, and you start taking more and more steps, and more and more and more and more. Next thing you know, you're on solid ground again. And that's what grounding does. It helps you get aware of like the steps that you can take in order to actually get where you need to go, because the mind makes it seem like everything is supremely unattainable, and like even if you do take this step, everything positive is like either everything positive or everything negative at this that will happen after you take this step will happen all at once. You get into all at once mode, and like nothing happens all at once. Even instant rice takes steps. Even instant, bro, you broke the first step, you had to buy it. The second step, you had to bring it home. This third step is like when you eventually decide to cook it, you have to open out the box. Fourth step, read the directions, or vice versa. Fifth step, gather up the ingredients and do it. Sixth step, eat it. Like even instant rice takes steps. And that doesn't even include all the steps that it took to fucking package it up in the bag and ship it in the box to the store. Like everything has tiny ass steps. Every single process is filled with tiny steps. That's what grounding gets you aware of, the tiny steps. So before we were like, that grounding was just with this. Now we're at like this level with it. So not a crazy difference, but it'll be a difference. I don't think. Yeah, I could do maybe. I get a nice, yeah. I don't have to point my hands perfectly to the camera. I'm just sending the energy of this mirror and me through the camera. Be aware. Don't even try to be conscious. Just be aware. Just be aware of the sounds that you're hearing, the smells that you're smelling, what you're tasting right now. What are you touching? What are you feeling? If your eyes are open, what are you seeing? Besides, you might not even be looking at me. You might be just listening to my voice. But what are you seeing? If your eyes are closed, I want to know, what are you seeing? If you're like me, you've been a victim of trauma in the past, just know that you're not in the past. Right now, you're not in the past. The past is the past. You're not in the past. You're not in that past. The grace, by the grace and by the will of God, or whatever you believe in. Even though when I say God, I mean a universal concept or principle. I mean like the creative life force energy that flows through everything. That's what I mean by that. I mean source. But God is a polarizing term. That's why I kind of like to use it in the first place. But like, by the grace of God, you and me and everybody who has ever experienced any type of trauma, and I don't care what you think trauma is. Like, trauma is something that is completely and totally validated by the person who believes and feels that they have been traumatized. It doesn't matter if somebody beats me up with a wiffle ball bat and they're my little sister, and I tell somebody, no, that's not traumatic. What are you you wimp? What are you? Then that makes it even more traumatic, because then it seems like my trauma is not being validated. My emotions and my feelings are not being validated, so therefore they're not real, so therefore I should not use them or interact with them, because they can't be trusted. I can't be trusted. But no, trauma is trauma no matter what it is, And for those who have been affected by trauma, I just want you to know you're not there anymore. You're not there anymore. You're not there anymore. You're not there anymore. You're not there. You're right here, right now. You're swinging and grooving and dancing through this beautiful mess known as life. A little bit more grounded, a little bit better every day. And grounding helps you realize that, although big leaps and spectacular bounds and swift, sudden, heroic, life-changing events are cool, changes can be small. Most changes are small, and the big, swooping, sweeping life changes are the accumulation of a lot of small changes stacked up that you haven't recognized or considered or thought about. So it comes as a shock, but it's not been a shock. It's not been a shock. The writing's been on all this whole time, And so now that I'm being grounded, I'm realizing how much pain my body is in, and I'm realizing, this is being real. This is me being real. I'm realizing how much pain my body is in. I am realizing how hungry I am. I'm realizing how I'm kind of tired. I'm realizing how I'm kind of thirsty. I'm realizing that my physical basic needs have not been met the way that they should. Or I wouldn't say should, but in a way that is not the way that I want to meet them, because I don't want to be tired. Being tired sucks. I don't want to be hungry. Who wants to be hungry? Me thirsty? Man, there's so much. Why would I? Me being in pain, it was one of those days where I was waiting. The reason why there was a delay between me saying the pain, because I subconsciously block out my pain, but it's no, my pain is here. it's definitely here. It's not going, and it hasn't gone anywhere ever since I started waking up. It's like being spiritual is being spiritual. Like, people think that, like, oh, if you're a spiritual person, like, they're just in la la land, they're delusional, they're free from all pain. But no, you being spiritual makes you more aware of pain. And not only of the pain of you and your body, but the pain and suffering of everybody and everything around you, because we're all in this, for lack of a better term, excuse my language, shithole together. But it's not about what you see, it's what you believe in. Always. And I believe in a brighter future. That's why I'm doing this, and that's why I'm so enthusiastic. And so that was with this time, third time's the charm, and I'm not one to, like, brag or boast, but, like, this mirror has got me off the chizang. It's, like, crazy, because, like, usually I would need, like, a drug or hallucinogen to feel this good, but maybe mirror is hallucinogenic. Or maybe I'm just getting in touch with myself. But either way, we're at the final boss, final climax. Mirror 8.0. And this time I'm about to do some jazz. I don't know what I'm about to do, but it's about to be a little bit different, because I can't do the Kamehameha, because Merbits, as we speak, are falling into my laptop. So we're just going to do a nice little support hand, because that's what grounding is anyway, is a support. So oh yeah, this feels so good. Yeah, I want to give y'all this feeling for sure. I'm going to be quiet for a sec. I don't even care about the myrrh bits falling on my keyboard, because I know there's billions of myrrh, and it was only $3. I don't have to save every last dime. I don't have to save every last penny, because I know I got it. And I know there's more coming. It's my natural birthright. I have a divine right to abundance, especially as a spiritual person. Because spiritual people, like everything you have is intentional and useful and purposeful and adds value and meaning to your life, because you're consciously aware. You're not going to buy something off of a whim. You're not going to buy something off of impulse. You're not going to buy something because it makes you feel good in the moment. And if you do, you're aware. And there's always I think there's always going to be a subconscious. There's always going to be an unconscious. We're not ever going to be 100% consciously aware. There's always going to be some patterns. We're just working to hone those boys, reel those boys in, bro, and hone. Because if you don't, you just go around hurting people, and you feel so bad because you are aware that you're hurting people. It's fuck, which makes you feel them. That's myrrh for you, bro. It's not your normal Reiki section. It's zany. It's a little bit. Okay. I'm not about to He-Man this. I'm about to put this myrrh back in his bag little by little. Because one thing that this really has really made me appreciate and recognize is all the little steps that are taken. All of the individual words that make up a great story. And what is your life but just the most awesome and marvelous story ever? It hasn't been told yet. It's being told right now. Prophesized, yes. But told? No, never. Only you can. And so, at last, I want to leave you all with some grounding techniques for this awesome Reiki session we had. Reiki. I like to say Reiki, but it's Reiki. Reiki. Doesn't that sound like a miracle? You can't tell me that doesn't sound like heaven on earth. Reiki. This has been a guided Reiki session by Dorian Turner. Reiki. Just rub the myrrh all over your face, all of your hands, all over your arms, all over your forehead.